Okay, so this is my techniques in terms of the sales, right? So I guess first things, make sure you do take photos of site.
Yeah,
So we and put it up on the chat. Speak to the subcontractor so we know what prices we're looking at. The first thing
yeah,
is always price when you price, always price based on the subcontractors. They've already been vetted, so they're already like within our scope. You always price best case, worst case scenario for
yeah,
subcontractor. So the most
yeah,
expensive price. Reason being, just in case the cheaper subcontractor goes out of business, we're not left stranded.
yeah. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
from here, what are we doing from here? So okay, so when the wife says, "Oh, my husband's not at work," um, so just say, "Look, all day I deal with emergencies. I go to emergency jobs. I do the work. I'm moving from job to job. By the time you call
yeah,
me back, I would have gone through 8, 12 jobs by Friday. I've already got,
yeah,
30, 40 jobs on my list already. So,
yeah,
when you call me back, I'm probably not going to be able to answer you straight away or answer you at all. So, can we sort of really nut it out right now and find a conclusion? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so that's a nice storyline. And she'll say, okay, so if I may ask, what's stopping you from going ahead with it right now? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just be open with it, and I'll try to resolve your answer as best I can. I do this every day, so have a little bit of faith in me, and I'll try to answer it. And she'll say, okay, cool, blah, whatever her reason is, right? Doesn't matter.
Yep.
And then you have to solve her issue. You know what I mean? So her issue will be like, well,
That's,
my husband isn't home. Okay, cool. Do you mind if I just have a quick 5 minute chat to him, 2 minutes, and I'll just walk him through what we're going to talk about so you guys are on the same page?
yeah.
And
I see.
or you can make a little video as well, and remember, give it to one of the office staff and they'll send it to their email, because if you make a video it'll be too big, so you have to send it to the office using G Drive, and the
Yeah.
office will
Okay.
resend it, so then they can sit down tonight, after dinner, and go through the video, and you're walking them
Yeah.
through it. You know what I mean? And because remember, the wife selling to the husband is not going to work because she doesn't know what to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or she'll just say, "Oh, Michael, what a great plumber," and he'll be like, "Oh, what was he saying? Oh, he said something about the roof." You know what I mean? That's what she'll
Yeah.
say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's your techniques there. So then then you get on the husband, you speak to him, try to walk him through and earn their trust and see what they say. You know what I mean? And in
Yeah.
any given conversation, you have to what I call is face the elephant in the room. You have to get to the point of pain. So what I mean by that is most people live on the surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, Michael, fundamentally, behind that, this is what you're doing wrong. And then beyond that, you're doing this wrong. Beyond that, your thinking is something is up here, right?
Yeah.
So what that looks like in real life, she'll say something like, well, oh, I'm not too sure, if I want to go ahead right now, and I go, what are your thoughts? She's like, I can probably, I probably need a bit of time to think about, probably need a bit of money to save up, you know what I mean? I go, if you're thinking about saving money, do keep in mind, if it rains again, you're just going to cause more damage inside your house, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
costing yourself more money, and up there in the roof, you may not see what's happening, but it's causing mold in the battens. It's causing mold in
Yeah.
the it's rotting the timber out. So
Yeah.
you're just gonna bleed out more money. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she'd be like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? So really, you need to get this done right now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take some photos inside. I didn't do that.
yeah, and so this is all the
But
stuff that you can keep going, and then my personal thing is like so what else is there? There's money, there's that. Oh yeah, and just storylines. Go look. I've been in the industry for a long time. I've worked with hundreds of roofers, of all different kinds. I go, what's the biggest problem that you have, right? Your is disputes. You know what I mean? The biggest problem you're going to have is a tradie is going to come in and not do the work like you expected, and the tradie is going to be upset at the client for expecting too much. You know what I mean? It's that industry that we live
yeah.
in, right? So
Yeah.
you thinking that you can just go out there and you're gonna get a quote from me, you're gonna get a quote from everyone, and it's just oranges to apple. It's just another roofer. But does that roofer have insurance? Does that roofer have experience? Does that roofer have warranty? Does that roofer have a company behind them? Can you call them 24 hours? Does that roofer have compliance certificates? Does that roofer have a vetted person that will, has been doing this a long time and will do it properly? If you have a dispute, do you have a dispute resolution team, someone that can help you? Or are you going to just call the roofer and he'll just hang up on you? You know what I mean? So it's not just doing the roof. There's 1,000 things behind that roofer. And fundamentally, if you think that you can just find someone out there and hope for the best, you're going against the trend. 90% of all interactions lead to people not happy with each other, right? So the chances that this works out well for you is going to be very slim, right? So this company has a 24-hour call center. You can call dispute resolution. There's a project manager involved. And you've got me. I'm giving you solutions, with a clear mind. I'm here. I can walk you through it. I mean, not many people can offer all these things. So this is what I bring to the table. And then and just that's pretty much it.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try and do this. Just sorry. Damn, I was really so confident in the beginning, but now I'm worried. But okay.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, what are you worried about? This is where I can solve some issues.
You know what I'm worried about?
Yeah.
That she's so young. She's so young, and so is her husband. And they thought I was coming just to sort of twig a broken tile or something. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, let's put that into some perspective. So why is perspective important, right? So the way I see it, all of the world's problems we have in this world is based on perspective, right? If people can sort out their perspective, everything will be okay. So what I mean by that is, why does someone join a cult of some religion? Because they've lost perspective of life. Why do human beings, one person is saying we must have guns, to protect ourselves. The other person's saying we shouldn't have guns to protect ourselves, right? But they've lost perspective. At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? Making sure that we and people around us are safe. That's all. That's the perspective that people should be taking. But they forget that. So what they do, they fight each other. So if we can sort out perspective, we can sort out everything. So what I'm looking at is Michael is looking at from a perspective of a person that can't see what I can see, right? Let me go through 500,000 jobs and find out something for you. So Michael's saying to me that clients are going to be the client is not expecting what Michael has given them, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. Expectations are important. Humans are based on expectations. What do they expect? If they don't get, they'll be upset. If they go on an aeroplane, if they go on a boat to England, it takes them 9 months, and they expected 9 months, they're happy. If they go on an aeroplane and it takes them 22 hours, not 21 hours, and they expected 21 hours, they'll be unhappy. People are based on expectations. So that's true. Expectations are important. But do keep in mind, from perspective point of view, every job you ever go to, a client is not going to expect what you're going to give them. If they did, they could just do the job themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what you're going to throw at them is not what they expected. I go and address it. I go, you expected me to come out, do a quick little patch and take off? Cool. But do keep in mind, that's going to have some pros and cons. The cons is you're missing out on all this. I can do it for you. I'll do it. This is your pros and cons, right? Your second option, which I recommend, is this. Your third option is to do redo the whole section. So you want to give them a couple of options so they feel like their options are met. You know what I mean? They're giving some multiple perspectives. So that's another thing. That's it. That's all I can get from every client is going to be like, I didn't expect this. And do keep in mind, yes, they are young, but I presume they're both working? Yeah, so they're both working. They're, if two working people are approximately on $120,000 to $180,000 a year together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're living in a house in the West, which is pretty not that expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So them throwing $5,000 is in the scheme of things is not much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So money and being young or old shouldn't really be a problem. I mean, in this scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. No,
but
yeah. Well, we've still got a chance. Still, like this is. I think you're right. Combination taking a photo, going through, taking a photo inside, expressing the series, mold and to the installation, etc. I'm worried about that aspect. Is that, and also take video and say, look, if you can give this to your husband and show them this video,
yeah,
you know, we're more than happy to do it before Christmas with the gutter clean and things like that we wouldn't normally provide,
yeah.
particularly if it is so close to Christmas.
And just and you know, always just sit there for a second and just sympathize. You want to sympathize with everyone. You want to sympathize with yourself, the business, this business. You want to sympathize, and then also look from the customer's perspective. You know, I go,
Yeah.
if I was standing in the customer's shoes right now, I've got Michael standing in front of me. I've got Christmas coming up. I've got a leaking roof, and my options are this. Once you can sort of sympathize with the customer, all these ideas will come into your mind. You'd be like, I just realized if I was in their position, this is where I may be wary. This is where my doubts are. And you go, hey, looking from your position, if I, you know, you don't have as much experience as me, but I know that, you know, if you were to say no to me, the next plumber that's going to come to your house that's going to be able to do this is going to be in February, March. You know what I mean? So you've got a roof leaking for this many times. You know what I mean? And, you know, to make it worthwhile also, you know, I've got the bonus of like, once this job is done, I'm going to, you know, the company's going to write up a report for you. It'll be broken down exactly with photos, with breakdowns, everything. You can take it to your insurance company and they may cover the damages internally. Because insurance companies would usually say, you fix your house, your roof, any accidental damage that's happened from this roof leak, we will fix it, you know? So I can't guarantee it, but at least our company will write a report, you know what I mean? Because we've got the capabilities of doing it. And that will be part of the package.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's it.
All right. Alrighty then.
All right, cool.
Wriggle on.
In terms of the video, you just record it on your iPad or phone and go onto G Drive and then upload it. If you get stuck, you can call Usman in IT, or you can call. If you get stuck anywhere and no one's answering your phone, just call me or call the Wild PA number or whatever.
Yeah.
And that will be a thing, right? So, if I can just add one more thing to this, you know, so what I want you to do is get the steps right, not the goal. I don't want you to have a goal so much in mind, you know, where you're like, okay, I must get this done, or I must get this customer, I must win this customer, right? That's a goal, right? Or I must, or then you have something called management techniques. I must get it done within this time. I must be efficient. These are management techniques, right?
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is you're doing the right steps, you know what I mean? And you're taking the right mentality, you know what I mean? So, you know, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Are you talking to the customer in the way they want? Are you looking at it from multiple perspectives? Are you applying everything that you're learning from me and Scott and everybody around you? That's more important. Imagine you go to a war, right? And you're a soldier there, you've got a gun in front of you, and you've got to go take over this tank, you know, 1 kilometer up the road. If you're focused on the tank, you're dead right away. You'll never get that tank, right? You have to focus on what's happening right now in front of you, who's around you, what's happening, what's my next move, right? And what are the steps I need to take to get there? You know, the goal is irrelevant, and not only irrelevant, it's actually a problem, because if you focus on the goal, you can't actually see what you need to do. So what you're looking at right now, what characteristics do I need to build in Michael? What kind of person does Michael need to be? What kind of mind frames? What kind of attitudes? What kind of, you know, mindset do you have? You know, what are the steps? What are the techniques? What did Scott do? What did Scott act like? What kind of personality do people like? They like the fun, jovial person, right? They like that Aussie kind of bloke, you know what I mean? And you know, you're adding all these dynamics to it. And also another thing you want to do is what I call high probability moves. So so people will say to me, hey Vic, something like this. I don't want to get this wrong, but they say to me, I don't want to do a video, for example, right?
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is, the way I look at it is, okay, it's everything in your life. You can apply this to everything in your life. If I were to do this 10,000 times, what will my life look like? You know, if I drink beer every night for the rest of my life, what will my life look like, right? If I drink it once a week, what does it look like? You know what I mean? You know, if I never drink it, what does it look like? So in this situation, you got to you got to ask this question every single time in every single thing that you do. If I do this 1,000, 10,000, a million times, what does my life look like? So this is what I mean by probability moves, right? So guys will tell me something like this, and it's all based on data. So sometimes you got to get rid of things based on circumstances. If it's a client is a waste of time, don't worry about this. But the client is half decent and decent. Looking at the last, 500,000 jobs we did. So when guys take the time out, they make a little video, and the video is designed for two people. It's designed for the plumber doing it, so they're not calling you 24 hours a day because they know what's doing it. And it's also designed for the people that you're selling it to, because they need to sell it to their partner, their wife, their uncle, their grandma, their VBA in the future. So does that make sense? So, okay, so, so in my experience, guys will leave a job site thinking, oh man, this customer, she was all right. She was halfway. She wasn't a total time waster, or he wasn't a total time waster, but they were okay. You know what I mean? Or they might say they're a great customer. That's the two responses I get. And if they're a time waster, fine, get rid of them. Just leave. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know that there was when I was with Scott, there was a customer that we had, and I just felt like we could have had that one. We could have sealed the deal. And it just felt like everything Scott did, he was great. He was fine. I think we both as a team, we really appealed and were able to communicate well with the delivery and everything. But I felt like Scott let it down in the stealing of the deal. And I was kind of really confused when we drove away. I'm thinking, hang on, Scott, like, we could have got that. We could have had that.
Yeah.
And I often think about that scenario and think that could have been me. I mean, he, it's from looking as a third person from the outside.
Nice. That's a good way to look at things. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Looking as a third person. But so what could he have done then in that case? What is that deal sealing thing that he could have done?
I think he would have then talked about, okay, let's lock this in. Let's talk about price. And let's make this happen. And it was just kind of, I felt like he was waffling on. And even the client was sort of almost suggesting, like, okay, and then what? Like, kind of almost suggesting, like, let's do it.
Yeah. And what was Scott's reasoning for not closing the deal?
I don't know. Look, nothing against Scott. He did a fantastic job. I was particularly, I felt like I was very switched on that day, and I felt like we could have had that.
Yeah. Sure. So why, and which brings me, I suppose that to further on from that concept, which brings me to another concept. There's a million things in life that will, probably when I first spoke to you, that will stop us from achieving our goals, right? So we can have everything perfect, and Scott's been trained for, over a year, everything's right, but the skill set to warm up a customer is one skill set, to win a customer is another skill set, and to close a job is another skill set, right? So when I look at Scott's jobs, and I look at all these jobs we've been to, and I look at it versus, other roofers in other states, yes, I can clearly see, and I have spoken to him in the past, this is an area that you need to work on. You know what I mean? So it's a good example of, the way I look at things is we have to try our best in everything and keep trying, become good at so many different things in life, because just that one thing, will stop us. Like if you go on if we somehow make it to Mars as a human race, and we get these ships and everything, and magic happens, and we land there, everything's perfect, food, water, electricity, we've done magic, right? And we forget, that we need vitamin C, just a little vitamin C, little compound in our body, otherwise we die. That's it. The whole billions and billions of ideas coming together dies. You know what I mean? It's the same thing in anything in life. You know what I mean? Whether it's kids or life or this thing. So it is one of those things, that's why I'm just like, there's so many things that are barriers. So we don't want to be the barriers in life. You know what I mean? We never want to say, oh, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try that, because you're just being a barrier. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? We've got to constantly be adding new things to ourselves. So I guess, okay, so we had before that we were speaking about what? Closing the job?
So that last step, dealing the deal, that's the timing, the subtle timing is just so important to wrap it up. Because you can win the customer and it's all tick, tick, ticks. But if you just waffle at the end and get in the car and drive away, it's all for nothing. And I just felt like that was a huge letdown with that job. We had spent the time, both of us really won this lady over, and she was giving us subtle clues to say, okay, let's do it. How much is it? When are you going to do it? And for some reason, I don't know why, but Scott was waffling on a bit. He just wasn't. He even admitted later that he wasn't on the ball with that one at the end.
Maybe I can catch up with Scott. Do you remember the address or anything for that one?
No, yeah, I don't want to.
No, I won't bring it up. I'll just be like, I'll do it subtly in a nice way. I mean, I won't say anything about you.
Honestly, look, I'm probably, it really, Scott has helped me, and he doesn't. No,
I'm not. It's not about that. Remember, in the bigger picture of things, everyone's got weaknesses. Me, everyone, right? So it's just me. I'll bring up. You'll never trace back to you, but I need to sort of address it and go, hey, Scotty. I'll bring up very subtly. No one will ever know about it. I'll just be like, hey, Scott, this is what I suspect. This is what I need to do. Blah blah blah.
I'd have to honestly. I can't actually think of the street. I'll speak to Scott today, and I'll be like, hey, remember that kooky lady that we had coffee with, and we sat down, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all good. Like it's me. What I do is when I see an iceberg, like over the ice. Usually under the iceberg is a whole country, of issues. So when I see an issue, I'm like, all right, what's behind it? There's got to be something massive behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, Scott, what's happening here? What's happening with the closing? What are we doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Which is normal. It's everyone. Everyone's going to have their thing. So it's not and once you've solved that thing, there's going to be another thing. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
Yeah. So that job, I think that job is worth going ahead, because there was two valleys going into a valley like box gutter, and to a larger big rain head, and then it was all the taps that were going to be re-bend pointed with the cleaning of the roof. And there was a bit too much. There was a bit extra as well on the front side. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All good. I have to chat to him. And I suppose what we were thinking of before we got traced back, we were talking about closing the job, the videos. If you get stuck on the videos, the office will help you upload it. Oh yeah, I was talking about probabilities, right? If I do it 1 million times or 2 million times, whatever. So in my experience, based on what I can see, and it could be completely wrong, but when I look at jobs and I look at the guys that play good card game, play a good probability game, look at what cards work well. So the card of doing a video, most guys don't do it, right? And when I look at the guys that do it, so this is the feedback I get. So I look at, 100 jobs they've done, and I compare it to 100 jobs that each one does, and I look at other companies that are doing it, and I go, okay, these guys do videos for their jobs. What I find is once a video goes out, the customers that are going to go ahead, they'll go ahead, right? All good. What they end up doing is they like us even more because the video went out. So when we go and we quote extra work in a future date or whatever, they're more likely to go us because their feelings of us are even better. So they've gone from an 8 to a 9 customer. And the ones that are sitting on the fence, like a 4 or a 5, and we leave, we're like, they're probably not going to go ahead. Almost 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 that jobs that we wouldn't have got will call us back and go, okay, cool. What can you do this for, and when can you do this for? Because they've tried other plumbers at this point, and they're like, this is the only company that did all this stuff. And I like the explanation. Let's call them back.
Yeah.
And of course they'll try to haggle prices, whatever. But that's my experience of it. So you've just got to look at, okay, if I do this thing 1,000 times, yes, I might make you know, every 10 videos I make, 7 rejections, but I'll get 3 to go ahead, you know? And if the average price for a job is $7,000, that's well worth our time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, all this information I've given you, it's probably too much to take in, but also keep in mind, you know that sales booklet? Have you read that sales booklet yet? The roofing sales booklet?
I skimmed over it, but I'm gonna I'm going to really look at this stuff. I really want to go and actually just sell this once and for all and have a Coke or a beer or whatever with Grant or Scotty and just work out like what I don't know. Just
Well,
like
let me try this for you then. Can you become better at basketball by watching a basketball player?
yeah.
No.
Well, no, to some degree. I mean, it's better if you
Just get involved, yeah. Just
That's right.
having a beer and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's fine, but you're with them. You know what I mean? You're with them.
It's
Oh,
not about the beer and the Coke. In fact, I really don't want to do that. I've got other things to do. I just need to. I really need. I mean, I could learn. Like once I learn this stuff, I'll be a completely different person.
yes. Yes.
I'm just like even the assessment fee now. I'm just thinking, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. What am I going to do? I don't want to do it. So, and that affects your overall performance, whether you think it is, whether it does or not. In other words, it will. Especially because time is precious,
Yes.
and so you're losing your rhythm, your natural. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I've got to do that, and it's ridiculous because I know it is easy, but it's just a problem with me. Which once I overcome that, I'll be different.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, enjoy yourself, and I know that's a lot of information, but it'll be summarized in the sales booklet anyway. And yeah. I'll also, once we quieten down again, and the leads quieted down a bit, then I'll get you back out with Scott anyway.
Yeah, no worries. And I'll pay more attention to what I need to know in the iPad and stuff like that. Sometimes he goes flick, I'm just going to go, no, Scotty, do it again.
Yes, exactly right. All good. It's all expected, and I'm happy with that. And yeah, so we'll get there, and just keep a good attitude, and we'll keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks,
All
man.
right,
Catch you, bye.
Bye.